The history that we know is merely the tip of a colossal iceberg. Between the pages of history, so carefully recorded by humankind, there still exist empty spaces, pieces of a puzzle that have been hidden or simply forgotten. Beneath the layers of earth and stone, under the depths of the vast ocean, and amidst the humid tropical forests, lie traces of something too grand, too sophisticated to be dismissed as coincidence. Enormous stone blocks are stacked together with a precision measured in millimeters. Tablets are inscribed with languages that no current civilization can comprehend. Ancient structures seem out of place in the era of primitive man. We have long believed that human history began only 6,000 years ago. But what if that isn't true? What if there once existed a greater epoch, a magnificent civilization swallowed by time? From Göbekli Tepe in Turkey to Mount Padang in Indonesia, these discoveries are challenging everything we thought we knew. And off the coast of Japan, the Yonaguni Monument, a stone labyrinth deep beneath the sea, looks as if an entire city was engulfed by the ocean. Each location, each discovery, whispers the same thing, that our history did not begin where we think it did. And if that is true, then everything we understand about our origins needs to be rewritten. This is not a video about conspiracy theories. This is a search, patient, careful, and filled with a desire to look at history through a different lens. Because sometimes, the greatest mystery lies not in what has been lost, but in our own arrogance in thinking we know it all. Imagine this. Timeless structures built not by gods, but by people with knowledge. People who lived, created, and then vanished, leaving us with only silent stones. Who were they? Where did they come from? And what caused their entire civilization to collapse? Today, mystery will take you on a journey to find the lost pieces of history. Please sit back, take a deep breath, and let your eyes and your imagination guide you across the thousands of years that have passed. Because the greatest mysteries of humanity are still lying dormant, waiting to be awakened. Before we question the existence of forgotten civilizations, let us first review the timeline that humanity has long accepted as its own story. According to modern science, Homo sapiens have existed for about 300,000 years. Yet for almost the entirety of that immense period, we were but small wanderers upon the earth. No empires, no cities, no writing. There were only campfires flickering in the darkness and worn paths in the sand. Life was so simple that it left almost no trace, as if hundreds of thousands of years passed in absolute silence. Then, around 12,000 years ago, the Earth began to change. The last ice age came to a close. The ice melted, the seas rose, and the climate became warmer and more stable. And in that moment of natural tranquility, humans also changed. They began to plant the first seeds of barley, to domesticate animals, and to build temporary huts along riverbanks. For the first time in history, they settled down. That change, which archaeologists call the Neolithic Revolution, was the beginning of everything we know today. As people stayed in one place, they built houses, then villages, then towns. The population grew, ideas spread, language became richer, and the imagination began to touch upon things beyond mere survival. About 6,000 years ago, in the fertile lands of Mesopotamia, the first towers rose in Uruk, Eridu, Jericho, and Çatalhöyük. It was there that humans learned to count, to trade, and to build the first structures that would challenge time. In temples of baked brick, they inscribed symbols onto clay. The first writing system of humanity was born, dating to around 3200 BC. And with that, recorded history began. From that point, we thought we understood our story. That civilization began in Mesopotamia, spread to Egypt, India, and then China. That humans evolved gradually, following a clear path from simple to complex. It was an orderly journey, easy to understand and easy to believe. But any story told too perfectly often conceals a gap. A few misplaced ruins, a few stones out of their proper era, a few relics too sophisticated for their time, all gently remind us that perhaps there was another chapter of humanity that was erased from the pages of history. So, what really happened in those lost millennia? What are these mysterious structures trying to tell us that official history has overlooked? Let us step into the next part, where we will explore the evidence that challenges all assumptions about the origins of civilization. When viewed from a distance, the history we know is just a tiny piece in the enormous puzzle of humanity. Homo sapiens have existed for about 300,000 years, but only the last 6,000 years, less than 2%, is what we call civilization. The cities, writing, temples, and systems of government that we rely on to understand the past represent an extremely short period, emphasizing that nearly the entire journey of humankind remains a mystery. This gap is not just an omission. It is a reminder of the fragility of the traces humans leave behind. Organic materials like wood, leather, fur, and even bone decompose quickly. Coastal cities, which were centers of population and innovation, now lie at the bottom of the sea due to a rise in sea levels of up to 120 meters after the last ice age. Volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, floods, and landslides have continuously erased the evidence of societies that existed for millennia before us. But even what remains sometimes astonishes archaeologists. A stone slab with a date that conflicts with the technical knowledge believed to exist at that time. A megalithic structure with a precision and scale far beyond any known agricultural society. These artifacts, from the stone circles at Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, around 12,000 years old, to the deep structural layers of Gunung Padang in Indonesia, seem to convey a message. The story we know is not the whole story. So, could there have been advanced civilizations that came before us, leaving behind only scattered and mysterious fragments? Could these misplaced ruins, these out-of-place artifacts, these overly sophisticated relics be clues to chapters of history that have been erased from human memory? This gap is an invitation, not just for archaeologists, but for anyone who dares to look deeply into unsolved mysteries. It reminds us that history is not only what is recorded, but also what is waiting to be discovered. And sometimes, the answer is hidden in plain sight within the most seemingly innocuous ruins. And it is from this vast gap that we will move on to the specific stories of mysterious ancient structures, timeless relics, and living proof that has left some scientists shaking their heads in disbelief. From structures on land to civilizations submerged underwater, each site will tell a story that official history has never recorded. On this planet, there are places that seem to defy time. They do not tell their stories in the usual way, but hide within stone blocks, architectural forms, and intricate carvings. Each ancient structure is a reminder that the full history of humanity has never been told, that there are mysteries far beyond the explanatory power of modern science. These monuments are like doorways into a world that current knowledge cannot yet reach, a place where myth and reality intersect, and where modern people must confront the questions: who built them, how, and for what reason? Our journey to uncover traces of prehistoric civilizations leads us to Göbekli Tepe, located in southeastern Turkey, which existed more than 11,000 years ago. It is a construction that amazes even modern historians and engineers. When Klaus Schmidt excavated the site in 1994, he not only discovered massive T-shaped pillars up to 16 feet tall and weighing tens of tons, but also found a network of finely arranged stone circles. Each pillar is carved with images of animals, humans, and abstract geometric symbols, as if a message from prehistoric times is waiting to be decoded. The most incredible aspect is that Göbekli Tepe was built by hunter-gatherer communities, people who had not yet developed agriculture or complex mechanical tools. The mystery deepens as these same builders deliberately bury the entire complex around 10,000 years ago, for reasons that remain an unanswered question. Göbekli Tepe is not an isolated case. The southeastern region of Turkey is the center of a network of ancient sites collectively known as Taş Tepeler, the prehistoric stone hills, which include Karahan Tepe, Nevalu Çori, Hamzan Tepe, and Sefer Tepe. These sites share the T-shaped pillar architecture, similar carvings, and circular arrangements, proving that this was not a singular phenomenon, but a vast culture. This culture possessed the ability to organize labor, transport enormous stone blocks, and implement sophisticated ceremonial projects that far exceed our usual imagination of hunter-gatherer communities. These stone circles might have been used for rituals, astronomy, or even as a form of early cosmic map, revealing that prehistoric people may have possessed complex knowledge of astronomy and sociology, things we typically attribute only to later civilizations. From Turkey, this journey opens new horizons on ancient mysteries. At Stonehenge in England, standing stones erected 4,500 years ago were transported from more than 200 kilometers away, demonstrating an understanding of mechanics and labor organization that still puzzles modern engineers. In South America, Sacsayhuaman in Peru features polygonal walls fitted so tightly that a knife blade cannot be inserted between them. Puma Punku in Bolivia has stone slabs with drilled holes, polished surfaces, and precise cuts, revealing a sophisticated construction technique beyond imagination. Further afield, submerged ruins like Dwarka in India and Atlit Yam in Israel, or massive foundations in Cambodia and Egypt, silently tell the story of civilizations that existed long before written history was recorded. Each site is not just an architectural work, but an open chapter in an unwritten chronicle. Every stone block, every circle, every geometric symbol carries a question that modern humans have yet to answer. Are we not the first great civilization? Could the techniques and knowledge we thought were unique have existed before us, only to be forgotten over time? These relics challenge not only our understanding of technical capabilities, but also our perception of history humanity's place in the millennia-long flow of the Earth, and the possible existence of long-lost advanced civilizations. Hidden deep in the jungles of West Java, Mount Padang was initially considered by archaeologists to be just a hill with natural volcanic stone terraces. However, when modern geophysical studies were conducted, a veil of mystery began to lift. Beneath the surface stones, a series of underground chambers, overlapping stone structures, and a large-scale foundation appeared, causing scientists to pause and recognize that this was not merely a natural phenomenon. The age of the surface layer of stones is estimated to be around 3,000 years old. But deeper layers revealed a shocking story, with dates ranging from 8,000 to 10,000 years, and some carbon dating samples suggesting an age of up to 20,000 years. If accurate, Mount Padang would not only far surpass Stonehenge or the Egyptian pyramids in age, but also pose a significant question. Who was capable of organizing and building such a complex structure during a period we still consider to be primitive, with limited technological knowledge and no writing? The stone structure of Mount Padang shows intentional arrangement. The terraces are finely shaped, and large stone slabs are fitted closely together, not just for structural stability, but possibly in relation to ancient astronomy. Some researchers suggest it may have been an early astronomical observatory, where people tracked the movements of the sun, moon, and stars, or a ritual center with deep spiritual functions. However, these all remain hypotheses, as there are no texts or symbols to prove its true purpose. Also noteworthy are the chambers and stone layers deep underground, discovered through geophysical surveys, suggesting that Mount Padang could be an underground city or a large cultural center. The size of the stone blocks and the complexity of their technical arrangement force us to reconsider the transportation capabilities, labor organization, and technical knowledge of prehistoric people. Each excavation, each geological cross-section seems to open a new chapter of history, while also emphasizing that most of the story remains buried under layers of soil and time. Mount Padang is not just an archaeological site. It is a vivid reminder that human history contains countless undiscovered mysteries, where ancient technology, knowledge, and spirituality intersect in a design whose secrets we are only just beginning to touch. Beneath the surface of oceans and lakes, ancient history lies quietly hidden, waiting for the people of today to discover it. Many once flourishing coastal cities are now only submerged traces, telling unsolved stories about environmental change, architecture, and human culture. Legend tells that Dwarka was the mythical city of Lord Krishna, a place of dazzling light and gold, a symbol of wealth and power. Yet, beyond the mythology, underwater archaeological excavations off the coast of Gujarat have unveiled a reality even more wondrous. Stone walls fitted with extreme precision, straight thoroughfares, paved stone floors, and artifacts such as pottery and bronze tools all prove that Dwarka was a thriving metropolis at least 7,000 years ago. What astonishes researchers is Dwarka's construction technique. Stone blocks weighing tons are fitted together to form walls, foundations, and a harbor strong enough to withstand powerful currents and fierce sea waves. Some structures even show signs of technical innovation, such as drainage channels, erosion-resistant foundations, and sophisticated load-bearing designs. This demonstrates a knowledge of geology, architecture, and mechanics that we often assume appeared thousands of years later. The sinking of Dwarka remains an unsolved mystery. Was it the result of rising sea levels after the Ice Age, an earthquake, or another natural disaster? No text records the details of this event, and there are no clear clues as to how the inhabitants dealt with the catastrophe. Even how they organized labor, moved the giant stone blocks, and built urban infrastructure under harsh environmental pressures poses a major question. Did prehistoric humans possess technical knowledge and social organization far beyond what modern history has ever recorded? Dwarka is not just an ancient ruin. It is a testament that the technical capabilities, urban planning, and understanding of nature of prehistoric civilizations may have been far more sophisticated than previously assumed. Its underwater mysteries invite us to re-examine human history. Are we truly the first advanced civilization, or are we merely the inheritors of a lost ancient knowledge? Far to the northwest, beneath the calm waters of the Mediterranean Sea, Atlit Yam emerges as a survivor of the Neolithic period. Nearly 9,000 years old, it is strangely preserved by a thick layer of sediment. When archaeologists excavated, they found a complete village with sturdy stone houses, wells, hearths, and a sophisticated drainage system. This water management system, with its channels and reservoirs, shows that the inhabitants of Atlit Yam not only lived by the coast, but also mastered the techniques of water extraction and distribution. A high level of technical knowledge far beyond what we imagine for primitive prehistoric communities. Some tombs and preserved remains reveal vivid details about the life, diseases, and social customs of the inhabitants, such as traces of tuberculosis on bones, or the arrangement of graves reflecting a complex belief system and social organization. This proves that Atlit Yam was not a small, scattered settlement, but a planned community with the ability to organize labor and a deep understanding of its surrounding environment. The greatest mystery remains the reason the village was abandoned. Was it a result of rising sea levels after the Ice Age, a sudden tsunami, or some other unrecorded natural event? Its sudden disappearance, combined with its advanced construction and planning techniques, raises a fascinating question. Is Atlit Yam evidence that prehistoric civilizations had reached a level of technical, architectural, and social management development far beyond our modern perceptions? Returning to Europe, off the coast of the Peloponnese, Pavlopetri, a submerged town dating back about 5,000 years, is considered the earliest evidence of urban planning. Exploring Pavlopetri is a journey into a highly organized society, with straight streets, multi-room buildings, courtyards, tombs, and rudimentary yet extremely sophisticated drainage systems. The foundations are paved with hard stone, and many blocks weighing tons are fitted closely together, showing that its inhabitants not only had knowledge of construction, but also understood materials, structural balance, and disaster resistance. One of the biggest mysteries is why Pavlopetri completely sank. Geological studies indicate that the area is near active fault lines, suggesting the possibility of strong earthquakes, while paleontological and sediment records hint at tsunamis or sudden changes in sea level. This poses a challenging question. Did these Bronze Age inhabitants anticipate natural risks? And what techniques did they use to build a city to withstand tsunamis and earthquakes before it was submerged? Furthermore, Pavlopetri reveals an important aspect. The buildings and streets are arranged with relatively precise proportions, suggesting they may have understood concepts of geometry and urban planning. Some researchers suggest that Pavlopetri might have been designed based on early astronomical principles, such as aligning some main axes with the sunrise and sunset during important seasons. This is evidence that this civilization not only knew how to survive, but also possessed advanced organizational, technical, and intellectual capabilities. Factors we often associate with great, later civilizations. Today, Pavlopetri remains underwater, with its foundations, streets, and architectural relics buried in sediment and coral. Each archaeological cross-section, each 3D map of the underwater buildings, reminds us that prehistoric people may have possessed knowledge and techniques far beyond what we ever thought. And perhaps we are not the first advanced civilization on Earth. The mystery of Pavlopetri remains intact, awaiting future discoveries to reveal the untold stories of the life, technology, and social organization of its prehistoric inhabitants. Further to the east, beneath the cold, quiet waters off Yonaguni Island, a massive stone structure emerges as a not yet fully solved mystery. The stone blocks, with their distinct geometric shapes, steps, terraces, and signs of carving, suggest a man-made structure of astonishing scale. Some archaeologists and proponents of ancient civilization theories believe this is the ruin of a sunken city thousands of years old, once a coastal cultural and administrative center. Meanwhile, geologists still argue that the shapes could be the natural result of weathering, rock fracturing, and movement under the action of sea waves. What makes Yonaguni even more mysterious is the incredible precision of its straight lines, right angles, and overall proportions. If these structures are indeed the product of human hands, it indicates that the ancient inhabitants possessed the ability to organize labor, construction techniques, and an understanding of materials far beyond any current estimates for prehistoric societies in this region. The finely cut terraces and steps, and the giant stone blocks weighing tens of tons still in their correct positions after millennia under the pressure of strong currents and natural erosion, demonstrate an extraordinary level of technical knowledge and labor management. Yonaguni is not just an underwater structure. It is an open puzzle where architecture, nature, and culture intersect. When placed alongside other sunken cities like Dwarka, Atlityam, and Pavlopetri, a message gradually emerges. The ocean is not just a geographical boundary, but also a mysterious repository of the past, where advanced prehistoric civilizations still silently exist, challenging modern imagination. These ruins invite us to continue digging deeper, researching, and asking the question, are we really the first great civilization on Earth? Stretching across the globe, from majestic mountain ranges to vast plains, from silent deserts to distant shores, the megalithic structures of ancient people stand as a challenge to time and imagination. Their colossal size, millimeter precision, and construction techniques remain an unsolved mystery. They leave us in awe and make us wonder, how could early civilizations with rudimentary tools create wonders that are hard to imagine even today? Nestled in the vast Bekaa Valley, Baalbek stands as a living testament to timeless ancient construction engineering, where modern people still marvel at its scale and sophistication. The current Roman temple complex is built on a foundation of enormous stone blocks from a prehistoric era, the origin and crafting method of which remain largely unexplained. Most prominent are the 3 trilithon blocks, each weighing approximately 800 tons, placed side by side with near-perfect precision. To put this in perspective, one such block weighs hundreds of times more than a modern truck. Yet it was perfectly stacked without the aid of modern mechanical machinery. Archaeologists and modern engineers are still puzzled. How did prehistoric people cut, transport, and place these blocks so perfectly? Some theories suggest they used levers, primitive pulleys, or a combination of advanced construction techniques that were never recorded. But no theory is entirely convincing. Local legends speak of mystical rituals associated with Baalbek, and ancient records indicate it was once an important religious center, where ancient people performed ceremonies related to astronomy, spiritual energy, or political power. However, the true meaning of the giant stone blocks remains shrouded in mystery. What is particularly special is that these massive stones are not just symbols of physical strength, but also suggest an extraordinary level of technical skill and social organization of prehistoric civilizations. These were people capable of managing labor, materials, and technical knowledge far beyond what we imagine for the ancient period. Baalbek, with its grandeur and mystery, not only challenges modern understanding, but also poses a profound question. Has the Earth witnessed civilizations more advanced than we ever thought? High on the majestic Andes Plateau, Sacsayhuaman in Peru stands out as a living testament to the extraordinary construction engineering of ancient people. Massive polygonal stone walls, some with blocks weighing over 100 tons, are fitted together so perfectly that a knife blade can barely be inserted between them. Each stone appears to have been cut, shaped, and arranged with mechanical precision, challenging our understanding of transportation, measurement, and labor organization in an era without modern tools. The curved stone outlines follow the terrain, creating walls that are both sturdy and majestic, proving that the ancient inhabitants of the Andes mastered architectural and geological knowledge far beyond their time. Further away in Bolivia, Puma Punku reveals a different but equally impressive world of technology. Basalt blocks weighing tens of tons are cut with straight grooves, super precise drill holes, and polished to a gleaming finish, as if the ancient people possessed sophisticated mechanical tools that we cannot yet explain. Puma Punku dates to around 2500 years ago, but its construction techniques, physical balance, and the clever arrangement of each block lead archaeologists to ask, is this purely the result of creative ingenuity, or did advanced knowledge of mechanics, engineering, and mathematics exist in ancient times that we do not yet fully understand? The stones at Sacsayhuaman and Puma Punku are not just building materials. They are living puzzles, silent evidence of the superior technical capabilities of prehistoric civilizations. They remind us that before the advent of modern civilization, there may have existed communities that possessed knowledge, organization, and technology that still astonish science and archaeology today. On the Salisbury Plain, Stonehenge has stood for over 4,500 years as a challenge to time, where each stone carries the untold story of a distant civilization. The massive stone blocks, some weighing up to 40 tons, were transported from quarries more than 200 kilometers away, a feat that archaeologists have yet to fully explain. But the mystery does not end with moving the stones. The blocks were erected vertically and arranged in a perfect circle, oriented directly toward the rising and setting points of the sun and moon. This structure suggests many theories. Was it a place of ritual, an astronomical center, or a form of ancient energy map reflecting a deep understanding of the cosmos? Although no texts or symbols remain to provide answers, the precision and method of erecting the blocks still amaze modern engineers. The coordination between astronomy, architecture, and organized labor shows that the hunter-gatherer or early agricultural communities of that time were capable of complex understanding, observation, and technical application far beyond our common imagination. Stonehenge is not just a stone structure. It is a living clue to the knowledge, wisdom, and social organization of ancient people. On the Maltese archipelago, the temples of Hagar Kim and Menajdra have stood for over 5,000 years, silent witnesses to a prehistoric society rich in wisdom and skill that transcended its time. Massive limestone slabs are intricately arranged, precisely oriented to the rising and setting points of the sun and moon, creating an ancient astronomical center that archaeologists still cannot fully explain. The construction technique of the ancient Maltese people is astonishing. Slabs weighing tens of tons were transported and placed with centimeter precision, with almost no gaps. And the entire layout combines astronomy, architecture, and belief. This coordination between sky observation and construction shows that they were not just talented stonemasons, but also extraordinary astronomers, engineers, and labor organizers. Capabilities that many believe only appeared in later civilizations. On the quiet plateaus of northeastern Laos, hundreds of giant stone jars, each weighing from a few to tens of tons, are scattered across the plain of jars, standing as silent witnesses to a distant past. Who erected them, by what means, and for what purpose remains an unsolved mystery. The stone jars are not merely blocks of stone. They are placed in an intentional layout, with spacing and distribution that suggest sophisticated planning, reflecting an ability for labor organization and an understanding of space far beyond what we once thought of prehistoric communities in the region. Some archaeologists suggest they were used in rituals, as tombs, or as symbols of power. But no conclusive evidence confirms this, only adding to the mystery. Most impressive is the technique used to move and arrange these heavy stone blocks. Without wheels, mechanical levers, or modern equipment, they were still placed in a balanced, sturdy, and time-enduring manner, reflecting the hidden mechanical skills and physical knowledge of prehistoric people. When we place the plain of jars alongside structures like Göbekli Tepe, Baalbek, or Puma Punku, a larger picture begins to emerge. Across the planet, from Southeast Asia to South America, ancient humans left traces of civilizations with technology, knowledge, and vision that were ahead of their time, reminding us that these mysteries are not just relics, but living clues to human history before our own. Looking back at the giant stone wonders across the planet, from the legendary Baalbek in Lebanon, Sacsayhuaman, and Puma Punku on the Andes Plateau, to Stonehenge on the Salisbury Plain, the temples of Malta, and even the mysterious stone jars in Laos, a clear commonality emerges. Ancient people achieved extraordinary architectural feats, far surpassing the understanding and technology we usually attribute to them. What is astonishing is not just the size and weight of the stones, but also the precision, the sophistication in layout, and the crafting techniques. These structures demonstrate a deep understanding of astronomy, mechanics, material engineering, labor organization, and calculation abilities that still amaze modern engineers. Some structures are even aligned with the cycles of the sun, moon, or stars, indicating an advanced astronomical knowledge combined with art and belief. But most importantly, the questions these structures raise remain unanswered. Who built them? What was their true purpose? How were the methods of moving, cutting, carving, and joining these giant stone blocks carried out? Has some knowledge been lost to time, leaving us with only these towering stones, silently challenging our imagination and current understanding? These structures are not just proof of the creativity and organizational skills of prehistoric people. They are also a reminder that human history is deeper, more complex, and full of unknowns. They open up new questions, challenge all assumptions, and invite us to continue the journey of discovering the mysteries that lie quietly under the soil, beneath the stones, and at the bottom of the sea. Waiting for a day when modern humans have enough patience, skill, and imagination to reveal the secrets that have slumbered for millennia. Throughout history, legends and myths from all over the world have told of great floods, fierce fires, and civilizations that vanished in an instant. We often dismiss these as imaginative tales, but if we look deeper, we may find that these legends are fragments of historical memory preserved through time. They are reminders that sometimes the truth is even more magnificent and terrible than imagination. Let us begin with Atlantis, the legendary island described by Plato, a brilliant civilization that was submerged in a single day and night. While many scholars consider Atlantis an allegory, geological research suggests that this story may be based on real events. The volcanic eruption of Santorini, Thera, around 1600 BC. The enormous amount of ash and lava was enough to create a tsunami, submerging ports and coastal communities, and altering the climate of the Mediterranean region for years. If this is true, Atlantis may not be just a fantasy, but a cultural reflection of a real geological catastrophe, remembered through collective memory. The echo of similar disasters also appears in ancient Egyptian traditions, with the concept of Zep Tepi, or the first time. According to ancient stelae and texts, Göbekli Tepe was a golden age when gods ruled the earth, before an unexpected catastrophe, possibly a flood or an earthquake, wiped out the old order. These mythological stories, though full of supernatural elements, may reflect real climatic and natural events, such as a sudden rise in sea level or massive floods caused by melting glaciers at the end of the last ice age. Indeed, flood myths are one of the most common motifs in human history. The Epic of Gilgamesh in Mesopotamia tells of a massive deluge that swept away a city, leaving only a few survivors. Similarly, Native American legends and the flood stories in the Bible all describe devastating waters that destroyed civilization, leaving only a seed of humanity to rebuild the world. Scientists have found physical evidence for these stories. Around 12,000 years ago, the Younger Dryas event caused the Earth to cool suddenly, then warm up rapidly, leading to massive glacier melt. This poured enormous amounts of water into the oceans, raising sea levels and submerging ancient coastal communities. These floods could well be the origin of countless legends, passed down from generation to generation as a warning and a collective memory. These fragments of memory, from Atlantis to Göbekli Tepe, from Gilgamesh to native legends, all raise a big question. Are myths just imagination? Or are they the remaining clues of real ancient civilizations that once existed and vanished under the influence of a harsh nature? When we look back at the megalithic structures we have just explored, from Baalbek, Sacsayhuaman, and Puma Punku, to Stonehenge, Hagar Key, and the Plain of Jars, we can see an invisible thread connecting mythological stories with archaeological reality. Ancient civilizations once reached a peak of knowledge and technology, but some mysteries about them remain submerged or have been faded by time. And it is in that space, where myth intersects with truth, that we begin to see strange traces, remaining artifacts, and unanswered questions. Each discovery, each stone, each legend opens a door, leading us into a world where past and present, history and myth, blend in a mysterious and fascinating way. The mysteries we have touched on today, whether they are ancient underwater ruins, precisely engineered stone structures, or legends that echo historical events, are not an invitation to jump to hasty conclusions. Instead, they are opportunities to embrace a profound curiosity. The unanswered questions they pose do not undermine our understanding of history. They enrich it, reminding us to remain open-minded as we continue our search for answers. It is natural to want clear solutions, to wrap up stories with neat explanations. But the reality is, many of the mysteries from our distant past will always resist simple conclusions. Archaeological evidence is fragile, incomplete, and susceptible to being lost to time. Myths and stories, while valuable, can blend history with imagination, and nature itself continually reshapes the landscape, silently erasing clues that might have once revealed important details about ancient societies. Acknowledging this, the best approach we can take is one of humility. To explore history deeply means accepting uncertainty, being patient with the slow pace of discovery, and treasuring each new insight as a small but meaningful step forward. While it is tempting to fill the gaps with convenient narratives or sensational hypotheses, the truth often lies quietly beneath our feet, buried under layers of earth, sand, and sea, patiently waiting to be uncovered. And so, our journey today comes to a close, But the ancient clues we have explored have only just begun to reveal a part of the truth. Great civilizations may have existed before us, leaving behind silent but impressive traces. From the massive stone circles of Göbekli Tepe and the stone terraces of Mount Padang, to the cities submerged beneath the sea, the sophisticated megalithic structures, and the myths that record memories of cataclysm, all of it suggests that human history is more complex and profound than any story we have ever been told. This evidence is not just a testament, but also a reminder that we may not be the first civilization to explore, to build, and to endure the challenges of nature. Imagine that beneath every layer of soil, under every wave, there are mysteries no one has ever touched. Civilizations that existed before us, and stories waiting to be retold. The question is not, did they exist? But rather, what traces did they leave for us to find? So what astonished you the most? Was it the structures built with a precision beyond imagination, the forgotten coastal cities, or the hidden power of ancient myths? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. I would love to hear what you found most remarkable. If you are eager to explore more ancient mysteries, the traces of civilizations that may have preceded us, and the stories that history has never told, please subscribe to the Mystery Channel and turn on notifications today. The search for the past never ends, and your curiosity is the key that unlocks the secrets that even time has not managed to erase.